As California's new rent control law takes effect, not every property around San Diego is bound by it. What tenants in affected buildings can do to make sure they're protected.
Thousands of sidewalks in San Diego are in need of repair. The $100 million plan that could lead to a fix over the next decade.
Plus, the local neighborhood's efforts to push back against taggers moving into their area. But first,
I didn't say bye to her. I don't know when the next time that I'm going to see her.
as this U.S. Army officer fights for his country, his mother gets kicked out of it. She was deported this morning after several attempts to overturn that decision.
10 News reporter Mimi Alcala is joining us live in National City. And Mimi, during all of this, the family's home was vandalized.
Yeah, Kim, Steve, someone tagged the fence right behind me surrounding the family's home with a curse word followed by the word Mexicans. And this happened as they were all together inside of the home spending their final night together before the mother was deported this morning. Rocio Gomez knew this day was coming. She was set to be deported, but she was still clinging on to hope that someone would overturn that decision.
Rocio is not asking for anything more.
Rallying in front of the federal building with her family and supporters by her side. Instead, she's now in Mexico.
By the time they actually told us that she was still denied, she was already in Tijuana.
Her son, Gibram Cruz, traveled home from the Army to be with her. He tells me her immigration meeting only lasted about 30 minutes, then she was gone. This is video of her in Tijuana after the quick move.
I didn't say bye to her. I don't know when the next time that I'm going to see her.
Cruz, a U.S. Army officer, says he re-enlisted not only to serve his country, but to help his mom. An ICE spokesperson tells us Gomez was deported to Mexico in 2009, but later illegally re-entered the U.S., which is a felony act under federal law. She was apprehended in 2018.
She did what any reasonable mother would do, and she crossed over again unauthorized to provide for her family.
According to U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, family members of active duty military members are eligible for deferred action. That didn't help this time. Gomez was told she had exhausted all of her options to remain in the U.S.
She's down there all by herself.
Cruz is concerned his mother will be in danger with no one to turn to.
She was going to get extorted for money, abducted. It happened to one of our uncles.
To make matters worse, a hurtful message was left outside the family's home on the last night they were all together.
I guess they wanted to send a message. I don't think I'll ever comprehend what the reasoning behind someone doing that.
And as for that racially charged message left outside of the home, the family tells me they have no idea who was behind it, and the surveillance cameras directly across the street didn't capture anything. We're live in National City. Mimi Alcala, 10 News.
Mimi, thank you. Many landlords in California are no longer free to raise rents as much as they wish. A new state law capping rent increases is now in effect. But as 10 News reporter John Horn explains, tenants aren't quick to celebrate.
The rental cap doesn't apply to buildings that are less than 15 years old, so modern ones like this aren't affected. Still, there are plenty others, such as these in the heart of Hillcrest, where that rental cap will make an impact.
But how much of an impact is unclear. Rents are rising on average 3% annually, but the new law allows landlords to raise them by just over 7% this year.
It's a step in the right direction, but we need to go further.
Joaquin Vasquez lives with his family in Lemon Grove. He says their landlord tried to raise their rent by $200 a month, but they negotiated that down to $50 a month by taking care of home improvements.
For a lot of other people, they don't have an extra $50 or $200 when they're already scrambling for change, for money.
Governor Newsom signed the bill in October, saying he wanted to protect renters from price gouging. Instances like this one last year in Linda Vista, when an investment group wanted to raise rents on tenants by as much as $400, leading to protests. But landlords are cautioning that the new law will curb housing development and lead to faster rent increases for current tenants. Those increases in anticipation of future needs.
In the year that they're going to need to put a new roof on, or they're going to need to do landscaping maintenance, they're not going to be able to raise the rent to cover it. They're going to have to do it now.
The rent cap sunsets in 2030. John Horn, 10 News.
Landlords who raised rents above 7% after March 15th of last year must now lower them to comply with the law. And tenants who are getting illegally high rent increases must go to court to enforce the law.
The Ocean Beach Pier is still closed because of high surf. The pier shut down earlier this week, and the pier was shut down 3 times in December for high surf as well. At one point, the waves broke a 20-foot section of the railing. Today, locals and tourists were turned away at the gate.
I'm a little disappointed that I can't walk out on the pier, but I think that they're trying to keep everything safe for us. But the waves are amazing. The day is beautiful, and so we're having a good time.
And you might remember the pier was closed for months last January after strong storms caused major damage. The city spent more than $300,000 fixing the railing, the electric, the water, and the sewer lines that all run down the pier. City officials will assess conditions tomorrow morning to decide whether to reopen the pier for the weekend. And our high surf advisory right now is expected to last until Saturday.
Meteorologist Angelica Campos tracking the conditions on our coast right now. Angelica.
Yeah, some big waves out there. They were just amazing to watch, but they peaked today and they will start to go down tomorrow. They're still going to be dangerously high, and rip currents also a bit concerned. So it's not just the fact that we have big swells. It is dangerous for anyone going in the water. Our high surf advisory will stay in effect until 4 o'clock in the morning, Saturday morning, expecting those waves to continue to range from 3 to up to 8 feet and sets as high as 9, so just a little bit lower than today. Right now, averaging 3 to 6 feet, and looking at bigger swells to remain tomorrow south of Encinitas. Also, a warm-up in store and potentially Santa Ana winds. We'll tell you more about that coming up.
See you in a minute, Angelica. San Diego's Coast Guard rescued a possible stroke victim from a cruise ship off Baja, California. Video from the helicopter shows crews hoisting the 68-year-old woman from the Viking Sun. This happened 225 miles south of San Diego yesterday. The woman was flown to Scripps Memorial Hospital in La Jolla.
Californians may hit another snag in the attempt to get a new real ID. The State Department says that people who use their passports as proof of identity to appeal might get rejected, but it says that some systems aren't able to verify those passports. Starting in October, Californians must have the new federally approved IDs in order to fly domestic. But if you have an active U.S. passport, you can use that for domestic flights without a real ID.
San Diego may spend $100 million to repair sidewalks over the next decade. Our partners at KPBS report the city has a backlog of more than 81,000 repairs. Most are connected to injury payouts. Property owners are legally responsible for the repairs. And now the city is launching a new campaign to help fund the cost. The idea is to spend $10 million every year over the next 10 years.
We need to hire more crews to actually go out and do the work. We may need to expand some more contracts with contractors who come in and do the actual replacement. We need to expand the 50-50 program so that we can get all those people who want to share in that cost, actually get them to be able to do that.
The Transportation and Stormwater Division plans to hire 23 new employees to push sidewalk repairs.
With the holidays in the rear view, a lingering question is when East County Congressman Duncan Hunter will resign. After pleading guilty in his campaign finance case, the congressman said that he would step down, quote, after the holidays, but didn't offer any more details. We checked with Hunter's camp today. A spokesperson told us a specific date has still not been set.
A candidate for the North County 76th Assembly District can't refer to herself as a doctor, at least not in the ballot statement this March. The UT reports a judge in Sacramento ruled Melanie Burkholder can only list herself as, quote, licensed counselor or a businesswoman. Burkholder, a Republican, says she has a doctorate degree in clinical Christian counseling. Democrat Tasha Horvath currently represents the 76th, and it stretches from Encinitas to Camp Pendleton.
Police are searching for a man who pistol whipped a donut shop employee while trying to rob the store in National City. A witness told 10 News that he saw it happen inside Winchell's Donuts on East Plaza Boulevard this morning. He says the assailant hit one of the clerks, ran out, and escaped in a red van. Police determined that he was trying to take the cash register. The clerk was taken to the hospital with a head injury.
Lowe's is looking to hire close to 200 people around San Diego County. The home improvement store is holding a hiring event next Wednesday, offering people walk-in interviews, even on-the-spot job offers for qualified applicants. The hiring event is Wednesday from 10 to 7. Just walk into any local Lowe's. They're hiring full and part-time, as well as positions for the spring home